Jorginho.
That's beautiful. This is Sparta.
From Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, from Thiago Veiga.
You are listening to the Jiu Jitsu Legends podcast. Enjoy the show.
How are you?
Doing good. Just hanging out.
Just hanging out today, huh? Mm-hmm. Well, we're glad to have you on the show. By trade, you're a massage therapist, correct?
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school for that?
So I actually went to the Cortiva Institute. They have 3 locations. They originally had 3 locations. Not anymore. I went to the one in Crystal Lake. So that was 6 years ago. So I've been doing massage therapy now for like 5.5.
You do it out of Lifetime, right?
Yeah, I work out
Schaumburg
of Lifetime Fitness in Schaumburg.
Okay.
So I work out of the Life Spa.
Anybody wants to get a hold of you for a massage? Give you a plug now.
I mean,
just go there and book it?
Yeah, they can go and book it. They can message me on Facebook or Instagram, whatever. Social media works too.
Don't mind Luis, he's Johnny Cameraman for Facebook over here.
Well, you're famous, you know.
So,
we have to make sure she's out there.
when was the first time you walked through LCCT stores? I want to start with that story.
Okay, so I started training Jiu Jitsu originally 8 years ago in April.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of on and off. My first year was consistent, and then the next 2 years were on and off because I had school and work and just like family situations. And then closer to the end of the 3rd year, I just didn't feel like I was really progressing at the gym. So I'd gone down to Arizona that same year, and I found a gym that I really, really liked, and I loved it out there. And I got sent out there for work. I used to work for Portillo's.
Okay.
So I was very set on moving down there. Like, I'm gonna go get my license for massage therapy and then just go. So a few of the guys from my original gym I knew had gone to Schaumburg, but I didn't. I'm very weird about going to places that I don't really know well by myself.
Right.
So I did try to reach out to some of the guys, and it didn't really, like, either they didn't see my message or whatever. Point is, I had one of my friends who still trains at LCCT, Cesar Brioni.
Right.
He actually hit me up and he was like, hey, you gotta come check out this gym. Like, a few of the current guys came over here. And
was that your original gym, was Kearns?
yeah,
Okay.
it was in Kearns out of Crystal Lake.
Okay.
So he was like, yeah, come out, like, the jiu-jitsu's amazing, Luis is awesome. And yeah, so I went, and that was kind of it. So I've been training with Luis now consistently.
And what happened the first
for 5
day that you
years.
met me?
See, we have to,
Talk, man.
get
First
off the
day
layers.
that I met Luis?
Yes.
Luis was an asshole. That was my first impression of Luis.
What the heck?
You want honesty, right?
No!
No, okay.
She's
so-
my fighter now. No, she's my fighter now. Now
No,
she's got all this attitude.
He just made me feel very welcome, and it was a good environment for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just fit my needs. And like, I worked with Luis a little bit that day, I think, and he told me, is like, you have a lot of potential, but you just got to come in.
Right.
And I kind of had a hard time with that because my dad has actually known Curran since before he had his gym,
Mm-hmm.
and trained with him out of his garage.
And who's your dad? What's your dad's name?
Gregorio.
Okay.
Gregorio Posada. But before you go there, I want you to tell them, because this is about story, legends, all right? So we gotta get the shit done. We gotta talk a lot of shit here between us.
Okay.
So on the first day that you came, I remember it was like almost 11 and you're mopping the floor. And I'm like, dude, like, isn't time, don't you have a house? Like, leave, you know? And then you were like, oh no, I like it so much. I feel so good.
He's just making that up now.
Yeah,
That-
no,
that
no,
I don't know
didn't
any of these
happen.
stories. I don't know
Yes.
any of these stories.
No,
So
that
this is
didn't
why
even
you're
happen.
on.
That didn't even. I did really like the gym though.
And then she was like, well, I was about to leave, but then, you know what? I love you so much. I love this place. It just, come on,
it,
great.
it didn't go like that, but
Yeah,
the way that Luis teaches though is very different, and I felt like I was able to actually grasp the concepts of it.
See, now let me
and
pause you right there.
Okay.
I've said it before, and then everybody's like, yeah, they think like you're blowing smoke. But when he teaches, isn't it like it kind of like sucks you in? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
like he has a way.
It draws you in.
He has a way. It's that like after every word. That's really what draws you in.
Okay, so sorry. Go ahead.
No, but he has a style of teaching and explaining things and having you feel the differences. And I think that's actually the biggest part. Like you can do something and think that you're doing it right, and then you do it on him, and he's like, you're still missing like this little bit and this little bit and this little bit, and it's like the smallest detail, and it's like, holy shit, like that's all I needed to like make that happen. So that's really what pulled me in. Like I think probably a few months into training with him, I was like, this is who I want to get my black belt from.
Oh shit!
Like this is who I want to.
Huh? Look at me here, my eyes. Now we're talking.
I was like, this is definitely who I want to rank up. And like I remember my first 3 years of jiu-jitsu, because I was a white belt for 3 years. It was like I get frustrated because I had stuff go on, and I saw people that I started with, getting their blue belts, and I was like, man, like
you're wondering what's
I'm gonna be a white belt forever, So that's what it felt like. And yeah, no, I mean, I feel like every time I've got my belt promotions, it's like, holy shit, like this is really happening.
And you
like,
just went up to purple. What was that, last December, right?
No.
Yeah, but
like,
before we get there, let's not jump straight from white to purple. Mr. Jorginho, this gringo man pisses me off. Anyway, this gringo's the best. So the reason you came to the gym, which some of your friends, talk about it, and you went there and you like it. Thank you very much. Of course, I appreciate it. But the reason actually you're the first girl that we wanted to put here is because, I consider such a hard-ass worker. Like you work, you put the time, and there's no excuse. And one of the things that, that I wanted to share, it's like, you got in here, you lost like 50 pounds, 60 pounds, whatever. Tell us a little bit of that. Like you got in here, you start training at LCCT, and then I know you lost a lot. Like we have a photo of you, then the before and the after. It's just like two actually different, people, and those are the things. Like we want to put it out there. The story of a girl that wasn't feeling well, trying to change the whole thing, and now here she goes. She losing 40, 50, 60 pounds, and started competing, traveling the world, going to Europe to fight IBJJF. So we want to know about those things, the good things, the bad things. Tell us a little bit of how was that, losing all that weight? Because a lot of the girls think, well, jiu-jitsu is not the kind of sport to lose weight. But talk a little bit, how cool was you losing all the weight, be fit, start competing? So I'll let you talk a little bit of that.
So when I graduated high school, I was at like 180, which at the time was my heaviest. And then I started training jiu-jitsu when I was 19, and the first few months I lost a lot of weight. And then when I got sent out to work in Arizona, I gained all the way back and a little more. So then by the time I got to Luis, I know I was fluctuating between like 193 and 200.
Holy shit.
But actually, the thing about that though is I've always been fat, like even as a little kid. So for me, like I never went into jiu-jitsu, like the first time or even like joining LCCT, I never went into it because I wanted to lose weight. Like at that point, I was completely comfortable with myself. Like I didn't care about the weight loss. And then like I started training a little more, and a lot of the guys at the gym started motivating me to like go compete. So that became a big drive. Like, all right, I should start competing. So the weight started coming off on its own. I never really went out of my way to do it. But I got down, I remember that year I got down to like 160 and still like eating like shit. Like I wasn't trying to lose weight. I didn't care to make a certain weight class or anything. I just wanted to train, and I wanted to compete, and I felt good about it. So then I think it was like, I never saw myself losing weight. Like the lowest weight that I've ever gotten to since being with you guys was when I got down a featherweight. So I got down to 124, which is like my lightest weight to
So
date.
193, and you got down to 120.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
24.
124 for
Wow.
for Worlds at Blue Belt.
So here you have someone that wasn't competing at all. You know, like you said, you went at your habits that was 193, and you went down all the way to 124, which is freaking amazing. That's pretty badass.
Yeah, I hadn't been, by that time I was 23, no, 24, and I hadn't been in the 120 since I was like 12 years old. So
Wow.
that was a pretty big deal for me. But that was a really like showed me like I can actually lose weight if I really want to.
Right. That's
So
what
then,
you do.
you know, getting down to such a light weight, I realized too like there was no need to be like heavier. Like I wanted to take care of myself. Like that really put things into perspective. I've gone through a lot of ups and downs with my weight since, but now I don't know how I was walking around comfortably at like 200 pounds. Like there's no fucking way I'd be able to do that now. Like right now I'm more comfortable with myself and I put on some muscle and I'm like 147, but like I mean if I get to like over 150, like I feel heavy, I feel bloated, like I feel slow.
I hear you.
And I have no idea how I walked around 200 and was like totally fine with it, like comfortable, like I was okay. I ate whatever I wanted. I was content. Like
Oh, look at Chris, like 600 pounds, and he's
Almost.
fine.
what a dick.
I do it on a daily basis. So.
Hey, I gotta
It's all
talk
good.
shit. We gotta make this, fun, entertaining. So this is pretty badass. Once again, you're down to 190, all the way up to 193, coming down to 124. I mean, there's a lot of people in the world that try that and don't get there. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, and actually, like I said, I always want to share with people, other girls, not just the fact that, you start doing jiu-jitsu, but just the fact that you were in a good environment with a lot of people telling you, hey, you got to compete, you do this, you do that, but you didn't compete before, or you were not like a really serious competitor. So my question to you is, you start losing all this weight and now you start competing, and like you said, you mentioned, you went to fight the worlds and you won a couple of tournaments. So how is that for women that would like to start jiu-jitsu? How do you feel? How will those things change your life? Like how good jiu-jitsu was for you? Like not worry about this gym or that gym, because we always try to be as neutral as possible. Yeah, LCCD helped you out, I helped you out, but the whole thing is doing some kind of exercising, some kind of martial arts, being active, eating clean, because you said in the beginning you didn't, and then even though you still lost a lot of weight, but then once you really focus yourself. So share with us a little bit, how was for a girl to walk in, start training, lose all this weight, and then start competing? How was that part too? How, like the fear, because I know we, before tournaments we talk, and I know how you are. Sometimes you're super nervous, sometimes you're super chill. So how is that dealing with your emotions?
I think training jiu-jitsu and competition especially, it's really overall helped me deal with life. Because when you compete, I mean, you're under a lot of pressure. You've got somebody that's going 100% with you. You've got their teammates like yelling shit at you, yelling shit at them, and it's very stressful. But I feel like even the times that I've gotten into tournaments, I mean, I've gotten into tournaments and gotten my ass fucking handed to me, like terribly. To where, for like 2 days, I'm like, man, I don't ever want to compete ever again. Like, I'm over it. I don't want to do this anymore. And then like later on, it's like, okay, like what's going to be the next one? I feel like I've definitely walked out with a better sense of confidence with myself, and just, I don't know, I just feel good. That's really the only way that I can explain it. Like, I just feel good. I feel confident. I'm happy. Like, I feel like I'm accomplishing something. Jiu-jitsu for me was the very first thing that actually made me passionate about anything in my life. Like, before that, I didn't have anything that drove me. Like, I tried a few things here and there, and like nothing really stuck. I loved drinking. I loved eating like shit. I smoked cigarettes for more than 10 years. Like, all that stuff I wasn't passionate about it, but like, that's what kept me entertained, and that's what kept me feeling good. And jiu-jitsu was one of those things that like I did for myself, not because anybody forced me to. Like, I did it for myself because I enjoyed it and I wanted to progress in it.
Nice. That's something. That's what I want to hear. You know, the things that you have done it that change, and why jiu-jitsu. Why do you think jiu-jitsu? It was the people, the vibe, the energy, the coach. It's like share. What are your thoughts? How was like the changes? How was it? How was you in the beginning, and then how was that transition going to gym? And then that's another thing I want to ask. Like, you know, you walk in the gym and you don't have like, you know, 20, 30 chicks with you. And how is that? How you think is that for some girl that would like to be interested to do jiu-jitsu? You know, what are the things you expect, and, you know, the challenges that you expect in you know, going into jiu-jitsu?
I think one of the biggest things that helped me out when, like, for example, like when I transitioned to LCCT is everybody was super welcoming. Like, everybody was willing to help me out. Nobody, you know, made me feel stupid, or like, I think the first time I rolled with somebody, I got like dragged around like a fucking rag doll, and like I didn't even know what I did. Like, it was my first time training, so of course like that's gonna happen, but like afterwards, like I didn't have anybody tell me like, oh, you know, you did this wrong, or you did this wrong, or like this is like a fundamental thing that you can do. So I think that was the biggest thing. Like, everybody that I met at LCCT was just super welcoming, really willing to help you. And the thing is, jiu-jitsu in most gyms is very like male dominant.
Yep.
So a lot of times it's like a girl comes in, like it can be intimidating, but everybody made me feel really welcome. I have a lot of anxiety going to places where I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, I would have gone to LCCT earlier, but like I'd messaged Donnie actually, but he never messaged back. And then I knew that like other people from Currens went there, but I didn't talk to them like that. So like the only other person that I really knew was Cesar Brioni, and he actually messaged me about it and was like, hey, you should totally come on and check out the gym. So like, I don't know, it's just welcoming. And then Luis is very asshole. No, Luis is very motivating, very supportive.
You're laughing now, hungry. She talks shit about me, now you're laughing, huh?
So you went from Currens to LCCT as a white belt, right? Mm-hmm. And then you got your blue under Luis.
Yeah.
Okay, so walk us through. You get your blue.
Yeah. So
how did you get your blue?
Yes. How was so? Okay, you came from other place and you see other gyms, and how do you think it's important following up program, like knowing what you're going to do to become a blue belt? How you think that changed your jiu-jitsu? Like how much better you think you got?
The testing, like the changeover from one school to the way that it's set up over by us.
So I like that Luis has a curriculum, because I feel like you know, nothing against that system, but it's not something that worked for me. I felt like whenever I went to class when I started, like it was a different instructor and they would teach a different thing every day.
What they wanted to teach.
Yeah, what they wanted to teach. And that's fine, but because I didn't have any I had a very small amount martial arts background, but I mean, it was when I was very little, so nothing really stuck. But yeah, so like for me, especially because I'm very visual, I have to feel like...
The most annoying fucking student ever. Hey, can I feel it? Hey, can I feel it? Hey, can I feel it? Yes, Celeste Posada.
That's not even how he does it. He wants to brag. He's like, yeah, let me show you the position. Let me repeat it 5 more times. I gotta repeat it 5 more times because my jiu-jitsu is so good.
Never, ever.
And then he puffs up his neck.
And then I go like this. Yes. Jiu-jitsu quarter. No respect. Look at the pen there. Well, you know, it's and I think right after that, you brought in your dad, right?
Yeah, I tried telling him like pretty early on. Once I first made the switch, I was like, hey, you should come check out the gym. And he went and he loved it, but he was like, no, you know, I've been with Currens for so long, and I'm just gonna live my life not learning this great jiu-jitsu. And then like after a while he was like, nah, Like, nah, I got to do it for myself. Like, I want to get better.
So just so you guys know, and hopefully one day I'll be able to bring your dad in one of these podcasts, because I really would love to share. Your dad is like a library of martial arts. Like he's actually trained my son Henzo for his kickboxing, Tai Chi, Kung Fu, all the stand-up boxing. Hanzo's doing with him, and he does actually privates with Hanzo Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I'll tell you, man, it's priceless. I told you that, was one of the greatest thing was for me to meet your dad, because he's really a true martial art lover, and it's amazing how much time he puts, how much time he helps. He has also a school with your boyfriend Brian Kranz, right, in Elgin.
Yeah.
Do you want to also say like where the school is at? Where do they teach?
I just know it's in South Elgin.
Okay, South Elgin.
I don't know. It's off of 31. It's pro boxing.
Pro boxing. I know it's at
because
pro
there's a
boxing.
pro boxing location in Elgin,
Yes.
and then they have a space in South Elgin, which is where he does I think that's where Brian mainly does the kids classes.
Right.
Okay. Yes, that's where it is. It is actually. So they teach there. So Brian Posada plus Eric.
Brian Kranz.
Brian Kranz, yes, Brian Kranz, my purple belt, one of our instructors at CCT, is the one that teach over there with Coach Posada, Gregory Posada, in South Elgin at Pro Boxing Gym in South Elgin.
Yeah.
Cool. I want to go over. So you start competing at IBJJF. I know you start competing in local tournaments, but then you went for the big league, for the big confederation. How was that for you? That you once again you never competed, you didn't even care about it, and now suddenly you start competing local, and then now you start going to big tournaments, the worlds, and even like traveling to Europe to fight out of the country. So how cool is that? How awesome is that to be able to do that? Share a little bit with us. How was that experience?
It's definitely something that I never thought I was ever gonna do.
Nice.
Especially like worlds, or even like going to Rome. That was a really good experience for me. But it's just something I never saw myself doing. I never saw myself getting that into jiu-jitsu that I would want to go that out of my way for. Because World is in California.
Yes.
That's not bad.
Yes.
Like that's 4-hour flight.
Right.
Yes.
It's chill. But I mean, the flight to Rome, it was like, I think total it was like 13 hours or something.
Wow.
I've never gone out of the country. Like I've gone to Mexico, but I'm
Yes,
from Mexico,
right.
so like that's not a big deal. But I've never gone out of the country to a country where I don't even speak the language by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember telling people that I wanted to do that, and then I was like, I have a lot of anxiety going to new places by myself. And I remember I had told too many people about it, and I was like, man, I don't want to look like a pussy now.
Now you gotta
I
be
can't
careful.
back out. And then I was like, you know what? If I buy my ticket, I can't back out. So I bought my ticket, and I couldn't back out. So yeah, I went, and ironically, I met two guys on my flight that were also going.
Mm-hmm.
So that made it a little easier. But either way, like I only hung out with them up until the tournament, and then after that, we went our separate ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, I walked around like the outskirts of Rome by myself for like a week.
Nice.
So
Nice. And
That was
jiu-jitsu kind of puts you on that in the journey, right? Like here I go.
Jiu-jitsu broke me out of my comfort zone.
Nice.
I hate being watched. I hate going to places. I hate socializing. I like keeping to myself. Like I'm a very personable person, but I don't like going out of my way to do stuff. And jiu-jitsu has definitely been one of those things that has pushed me to go do stuff that I wouldn't normally do because I want to grow, and not just in jiu-jitsu, but like as a person in general.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
That is cool. Like I said, I want to do this. When me and Chris we talk about in Thiago doing the podcast, actually it was Chris's idea the whole time.
It's like pulling teeth to get you to do it.
Yeah, to put this together. But you know how busy I am. I have no life. I have no time.
It's always at home.
Watching TV.
Yeah.
Right.
On his phone till 4 in the morning on Facebook.
Yep.
I have no time.
I have no time at all.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep well. I went to bed at 4 in the morning.
Anyway.
Oh, I think we struck a nerve here.
This is so bad. Actually, I cannot hear you on my
At all?
at all here. I can hear your voice. Okay.
Now is it better?
It's far, but it's louder now. I can. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. It's now. It's
Can't really hear Chris
Okay.
though.
Yes. Yes.
I'll work it out.
See now I feel now I can really hear the difference. Once
Yes.
you started talking, I was able to hear the difference.
Me too. Me too. So, we talked a little bit about the beginning. This was good. Now yeah.
That's better? Everything's good now?
No.
No.
What about now?
Yes.
That's good?
Yes. Now it's really good.
I
Sorry,
don't
folks.
I don't hear him.
Now
I
it's
hear
come up?
Luis. I heard
Is that
Luis, but I
better?
don't hear you.
Is
No.
it clicking at all?
No.
I can hear you now.
Some technical.
Some technical issue here, guys. I'm sorry. We're getting better and better every day. But anyway, I can talk, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, right away as soon as we finally okay, let's do it, and we wanted to talk about everything, and I'm like, man, we gotta talk to Celeste, even though you did a video for the gym, how cool it was that you did a video, you talk, it was like it was like short.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for Instagram. Remember?
Yeah, for Instagram, right? And it was pretty cool because once again, it's not all about just a professional. That was really good.
This is good now?
Yes,
You can hear now.
I can hear you, but then stopped. There.
Better?
So yeah.
There. You good? Not good? Doesn't matter. Okay. Fuck it.
Can you hear me?
I think I heard you right now. You moved the microphone. I think
Yeah,
I heard
you can hear it now.
Okay, yeah, now I can hear you.
Speak
I'm
soft.
out. I'm sorry, I'm out. I can't hear nothing. There you go.
Better?
Right there.
That's good?
That's
You
good.
sure?
Yes, fucker. So, anyway, sorry guys, we had a little bit of technical issue. We're gonna.
It's
fix
okay.
that.
We just lost all the listeners.
So, once again, the reason was, I was like, man, I think it would be cool for us to do and talk about everybody. It's like the experiences of your life. Like today, we talked to Kola, which was a guy that, we became friends in the 90s at Hickson's gym. I was a purple belt, he was a white belt, and he ended up actually becoming a black belt under us. And you see the gratitude and everything else, about the jiu-jitsu. And like I said, all the stuff that we do, it's all about the love and the passion for the sport. You know what I'm saying? And what are the things besides the competition? Okay, so you beat the weight, you were 193, you went down to 124, and then next one, you never thought about competing. Suddenly you're competing in local tournaments, and then there you go, now you're IBJJF, and then next step, oh, here you go, world's champion. Oh, here you go, I'm in Rome, competing in Jiu-Jitsu. So all those changes, all the battles, how does that feel, right? About it, that you're accomplishing so much. How do you feel with yourself that you were able to be a normal person that kind of didn't care about shit, and then suddenly, you're really badass. You know what I'm saying?
Now everything starts clicking and,
Yes.
competing more and everything.
What are your goals? So talk to us.
I've gone really back and forth with myself, and a lot of it is just like I've always grown up with a lot of doubts,
Mm-hmm.
and I've had like stuff, happen, and I've never really believed in myself. So that's something that I'm honestly still working on because I want to make a name for myself in the jiu-jitsu community.
Mm-hmm.
And the last 2 years, I definitely haven't been as active in the competition scene. I was kind of trying to handle more of the internal stuff, more of the mental stuff, because I got to a point where I realized if I don't deal with what's going on in my head, I'm not going to be able to get better at jiu-jitsu. I'm not going to be able to better myself in life in general because I just finally need to address a lot of stuff that I had been ignoring, and a lot of that stuff is what actually affects me when I go to tournaments, or when even like going to class, like if I'm really down on myself and then I go to class and get my ass handed to me, I'm like, fuck, like I don't want to, like, why am I doing this shit to myself? I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. So it's, yeah, like I've definitely taken a step back. I'm in a much better space now, and I mean, I'm just kind of waiting for, you know, with the pandemic and with all the coronavirus stuff going on, I'm just kind of waiting for things to somewhat normalize so I can get back to that. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't need a break from the competition scene, at least. And
yes, I know you were competing a lot. You were traveling a lot. You and Brian Kranz, you both. I mean, that's another thing too. I want to bring it up. You know how cool it is for you to be able to have your boyfriend, you know, training all the time. You guys push each other, you know, to the next level.
we actually don't train together that much.
Oh, okay. But I know. Oh boy. Come on, I'm trying to talk to you about couples. But okay. But I know you push his ass, you know, to come to the gym, to be there, you know, how good that is. How important that is.
Not so much the training together, but the support system that you guys show
to support each other.
Because everybody can see it in the gym that you guys help one another. You know,
Like I really tried to push Chris, you know, but kind of don't do much about it. Please.
shit happens. Thank you. Go ahead.
No, it's good because we both know each other's goals, and when one is slacking off, it's like there are ways to do it, but we constantly will remind each other, like, you know, remember that you want to do this and you want to do this, and in order to get to that point, you need to do this and this. Like, you need to do all those steps in between.
Right.
So it's nice because I have somebody that holds me accountable, and it's same way, you know, vice versa. Like, I hold him accountable.
Yeah, accountability is everything.
Yeah. So I mean, one of the things.
My mom, sorry.
Oh.
My mom.
Hi. Didn't even see me.
No, she
Show the wall over there.
She says, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, man. So we're talking about Brian?
It's just the accountability,
Yes.
mainly. Yeah.
Yes. Good. What else you want to talk about in your life with the jiu-jitsu that was able to change, that you feel stronger? What are the things that would you like to share? Because, for example, Kola, you know, we brought up a lot of the things that happened to him, how hard it was, work-wise, and other stuff. You know, we talked to Henzo about, you know, like the kid stuff, how he thinks as, you know, a teenager and that stuff. And having a woman competing, that's another thing I want to ask. How is, because we don't have a gym that is, you know, we have 300 girls for you to train. So how is it actually, I know you don't care and actually you want to train with the guys, but how is that interaction with the guys and be part of it? Because I know also the guys, like, I know you go to kick their ass and they try to kick your ass, because I see some of the training, you know, and you're pretty asshole sometimes, you know, like, but I like it because you really deliver, you know what I'm saying? You don't have this, oh, she's a girl, she's gonna be all fragile. Like, that's not Celeste.
She goes hard like everybody else.
Yes, like you sometimes I have to turn like a notch a bit, you know, just like, motherfucker, all right, let's fight. All right, you want to fight? You want to fight? No, we fucking go. And I think that's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Because anybody sees you doing, you know, you work as a massage therapist. Anybody that looks at you thinking like, oh, you know, this girl does massage. They don't know, like, you can choke their ass. You know what I'm saying? So how do you feel? I know you say you feel comfortable, but explain a little bit about that part too. You know, that yes, you're a girl, but you're able to train, you know, with the guys, and how badass is that? Go ahead, Chris will talk.
No, honestly, if you go from like class to competition, competing against women is harder. Competing against women is hard because I don't train with enough women. at the gym. It's
Right.
it's very
'Cause you're
it's
limited.
just different.
Right.
It's just different. The mindset is different. It feels different because women, you know, it's like I'll talk to some of my massage clients about it, and they're like, "Oh, well, you know, you have an advantage because you train with all men." I'm like, "So do they."
Yeah.
They all train with all
Yeah.
men, and the thing with women is because we're usually smaller and we have a strength disadvantage.
Right.
We have to be way more technical. So it's like I'm not just competing against a girl. Most of the girls weight lift. Most of the girls do, you know, cardio, whatever. Like they have their strength
Yeah.
training stuff. And it's like, so not only am I dealing with an opponent that's also strong, very technical, because we have to be.
Exactly.
So that does change things a little bit. But I like that I can roll with the guys and they'll go, you know, balls out on me because they know that if they put their guard down, like I'm gonna fuck them up.
I love that.
So,
I love that.
like, I know I don't get taken lightly at the gym, and I mean, I feel really good about that. There's times where, like, I'll be rolling, like Ruben. I'll roll with him, and I'll get my grip in, and he doesn't go nowhere, and I'm like, yes, because, you know, Ruben's big as shit,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you know, I'm small, so, like, I feel really good, especially lately, my strength has really gone up.
Nice.
So I
That's awesome.
feel it when I train with the guys, because I don't feel as overpowered as I used to.
Yes.
Like, I feel like I go
Yes.
a lot harder. You know, you brought up training with Brian. Like, Brian and I don't train together very consistently. But before, is like we'd roll and he'd just smash the shit out of me and then submit me. And now it's like he'll still catch me, but I'll catch him now too. And when he catches me, it's like during a scramble versus he just smashes the shit out of me and then submits me.
Nice. I
Okay.
love that.
So-
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a short break and then we'll be right back.
Right.
A really big increase on depression, anxiety, you know, and all kind of negativities that we can possibly talk about it. And I know you want to share a little bit, and I would love. I think this is great for you guys to hear. I have other students that have anxiety problems. They had really problem trying to commit suicide, and this is something that it happens a lot more in this day. And I think it's extremely serious, you know, conversation to talk about it. So please share with us, you know, all that part first, so we can see that, you know, it does happen with everybody, but also you can beat that shit. So explain that how Jiu-Jitsu brought you up of, I would say, that dark side.
Right. So one thing that's important to put out there too, as far as like, you know, like what you said, coming out of the dark side, when you have some sort of mental illness or some sort of mental health issue, that's not something you really ever come out of. It's something that you live with, you cope with, you deal with. You know, it just depends on how you handle it, how you handle your situation, and how, you know, how good or comfortable you are with your support system, having a support system, therapy, medication, whatever. I started being more open about it in the last year or so. I've actually been suicidal, and I've had suicidal ideations before I even knew what suicidal actually was, like before I knew of the term. So, like in elementary school, for example, it's always stuck with me. I've always wanted to die. I never knew why, but it's just always been there. So I went through a lot of ups and downs growing up, and when I finally got to 18, my parents are divorced, so I live with my mom.
Right.
I lived with my mom at the time, so she was fine. Like, she sat me down one day and was like, "Are you going through drug withdrawals or something?" I'm like, "No, why?" And she's like, "Just, you know, your moods or whatever." So she sought out help for me, so I went to therapy for the first time, but they diagnosed me bipolar type 1. So there's type 1, type 2. Type 2 is more of, more like, not seasonal, but like you have it for a few months and then it goes away.
Right.
When it's type 1, it's like all the time.
Constant.
It's constant. So Jiu-Jitsu was definitely one of the biggest things that helped me come out of it, because it gave me something to focus on. Because before that, I mean, what I had lived for really was eating whatever, drinking, smoking cigarettes. I've done like drugs too,
Right.
like different ones. I've never like gotten hooked on drugs, but I've definitely done.
Experimented.
I've experimented with them, and that's really what I look forward to. So it's not healthy. Like, it's fun, but it's not healthy. And jiu-jitsu was like the first thing that I did for myself that really, I guess it like went into this void that I had, and it overjoyed me. It really did. But at the end of the day, you have to do more than just that. Like, it can't just be one thing that makes you okay. Like, I don't know how familiar you guys are with bipolar, but I've had multiple people tell me, including professionals, like, I've been told multiple times that I cannot function like a normal person if I'm not on medication. And I will tell you, I have not been medicated consistently in years. And reason being, I train jiu-jitsu,
Awesome.
I lift, I run.
Awesome.
Even if I'm not running, I'm doing other cardio. I'm eating well. The moment I start eating bad,
That's awesome.
my mood goes like
Triggers
this.
Yes.
Every single time. If I don't, so even if it's interesting because I've noticed that even if I'm still lifting and doing cardio, if I'm not training jiu-jitsu, after about a week or so, I start to feel bad too.
It's the whole package for you.
It's the whole thing. It's my job. I do massage therapy. It's physical. I lift weights. I run. I train jiu-jitsu. I eat well. And if I wasn't doing all of that, I 100% guarantee I wouldn't be able to do it without medication. I would have to be on medication. No doubt about it. And jiu-jitsu is honestly, as far as physical activities go, jiu-jitsu is like the biggest thing for me.
Right.
If I don't do it, I don't feel well. I can go without lifting. I can go without doing cardio. It still helps, but I can go without it as long as I'm training jiu-jitsu consistently.
So jiu-jitsu is the key, and it's at the top of the list. Right?
For me personally, it is, because it's, you're with other people. It's a contact thing. You release, what is it? Oxytocin.
Is it
Release your
oxytocin?
yeah, because you're touching other people though.
Right.
So you release the oxytocin, you release your feel good hormones, and it's very interactive. When you lift weights, you're by yourself. When you run, you're by yourself.
Everything's isolated.
Yeah, everything's isolated. So when I train jiu-jitsu, I feel good. Once
That's
we're
so
done with
awesome.
class, everybody's tired, and then we all just start like dicking around. We all start talking shit, and and it's just like, it's just a good feeling. Like, we all just kicked each other's asses. Now we're gonna hang out. Like,
Because not only do you get the jiu-jitsu, but it's like you're at home.
mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and that's what feels good. Because even the times that I've wanted to stop training jiu-jitsu, honestly, the thing that's always drawn me back has been my coach and my teammates. That it's the energy. Because if the energy wasn't the same and I didn't want to train jiu-jitsu anymore, I'd just stop. But
Just
what
cut it off,
keeps me going back is this asshole.
Yeah. He's the hook, right?
This is what she says about the coach. I'm such a bad person. I kind of noticed that I'm not good enough for some people, somehow. So tell me more. So because you got the ups and the downs. What was the worst one? What is the lowest that you ever been?
So my lowest points have been more than once. When I was 18, I did try to kill myself.
Mm-hmm.
I took a lot of pills one night, and thankfully I threw them up. And then the next day I was going through therapy at the time, so I got checked in. So I told my therapist that I tried to kill myself. And then 4 years ago, it was the same thing. I wasn't brought up. I'm Mexican. My parents, old school Hispanic. They were not brought up to show emotions. So I was not brought up to show emotions. I couldn't talk about that stuff. So for me, being 18 and going to the hospital and coming out of it, I felt good, and then I wasn't on medication for like 5 years, and I was like, oh, this is great. Like, I'm doing good. And then 4 years ago, I had another really bad low, and I could feel it like taking over, but I didn't tell anybody. I couldn't. Like, I was so embarrassed because I'd been fine for 5 years. I'd been off of medication, and in my head it was like, how embarrassing is it for my parents to see that their child needs help again? Like, I didn't want to tell my friends because I didn't want anybody to think that it was like, oh, it's just attention. It's just a cry for attention. Like,
But this I don't want to interrupt you, I'm really happy that you actually, sharing this with us. This is something that happens all the time, okay? You're not the first and you won't be the last. But the most important thing, if you have the people around that loves you, that support you, that are always there for you, and like you said, if you're training jiu-jitsu, if you're working out and you're doing the good stuff in life, you know what I'm saying, and you're doing your dieting, you will overcome all this stuff. But a lot of people, they don't have that. They start taking medications, and with the medications, a lot of the times just make it a lot worse. And we know, and I hear a lot of cases that too, like Andy Irons, one of the many times world champion surfing, he started taking stuff for, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think it was depression too.
Right.
And he ended up, getting bad. So I know how bad it is, because it's something that I work with people in Brazil with that too. I work with a psychiatrist actually, that used to go to a lot of people that were bipolar or had, the suicidal, feeling, the desire and all that stuff. And it is something that I feel like every year is growing more and more, and a lot of people don't know. And the first thing people do is, hey, take this medication for this, take this medication for that.
Yeah,
and now you have zombies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have literally zombies that they don't do anything.
But you know what? Here's the thing about that though.
Mhm.
If you're taking medication,
Mhm.
you need to be active, regardless,
Right.
because it's not the solution, it's not the cure. It's
Yes.
only it helps.
Yes.
It helps, but I'm not a case where I need to be on medication. Like, I know what works well for me,
Mhm.
but sometimes for some people it doesn't.
It doesn't.
And in
yes.
the last years, from like my first check-in to 4 years ago,
Mhm.
during that time period, I did need to be on medication.
I see.
I don't think I need to be on it permanently, because
Mhm.
I'm much more open now. I know that there's help.
Yes.
So I'm not embarrassed anymore. Like, I'm not ashamed of it anymore. Because at the time, if I had reached out to somebody about it,
Mhm.
I don't think it would have gotten as bad as it did.
I see.
And like, the thing is, I completely isolated myself, because I stopped training, I stopped working out.
Yes.
I had lost my appetite, and I mean, even like showering
I see.
became hard. I didn't want to shower anymore. All I wanted to do was wake up, go to work, like have enough time to put my clothes on, go to work, come back home and sleep. That's it. All I wanted to do was sleep. I didn't want
That was it.
to.
Mhm.
I didn't want to do anything else. And the day that I finally decided to do it, I went to work, and I remember like that morning I was like crying, and I went to work, and I had already decided that morning, like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna come to work. I'm gonna finish my shift first, and then I'm gonna go home. I had slept like 2 hours, and I had a lot of pills at home. I was like, I just take them, I go to sleep, and that's it. And one of my coworkers, it was on a Sunday, my coworker that never worked Sunday, worked that day. And that morning I'd also cut myself, because I was just wasn't in a good headspace anymore. And I saw him, and I remember following him into the break room, and he was like, he just took one look at me, he's like, what's wrong? And I was like, dude, I don't want to live anymore. And he's like, I think you should go somewhere, like, I think you should get help. And I was like, I don't know, like, maybe I'll think about it. But I still, like, at that moment, I was still very set on doing it. But then once I told one person, I, like, lost it. Like, I couldn't compose myself for work anymore. So they canceled all my clients. I had to, like, call human resources at my job. My manager had to call somebody, too. And then that coworker that told me that I needed to go get help, he actually drove me to the hospital, stayed with me for like 6 hours while they processed me, until they took me all the way to the ward. And yeah, after that.
And like we talked about it before, and I know, I mean, I had other cases in the gym too, and I had cases of people that I also know, friends too, Like I said, it's not just one case, it is out there.
It's everywhere.
And yes, and I would say, man, it's out there way more than people think. Like you said, a lot of the times you're embarrassed to talk to someone, You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, you don't want to open up. This is, you're talking about something extremely serious, about your life. But dude, people that don't feel this, they don't understand. They'll think like, oh man, this is bullshit. This is silly.
You think you're full of shit or something like that.
Couldn't
Like you said, you were like, I'm not crying or saying this just to get attention. Like, dude, I want to end this, and
you know what the crazy part about that is? It's not, and for most people that have suicidal ideations, it's not so much I want to die. It's I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to deal with.
You just want everything to stop.
I just want everything to stop. Like it's like constant noise that never stops. It's like the TV that's on. You can't find the remote. You can't turn it off, and like all these thoughts are going, and it's so much, and you just want it to stop. That's it. You don't want to actually die. You just don't want to. You don't want to deal with it anymore.
Yes.
You don't want it there.
And once again I feel like it is so much more out there than we actually know. Like I found out one time from one of the students that we had, like he stopped coming, and I was like, I texted him like, dude, what's up? Like you haven't shown the gym. And Leo came to me and was like, dude, actually he has depression. And I'm like, really? And then and then I'm like, why you didn't tell me? Oh no, he had problem like suicidal and all that stuff. So once again, you hear this a lot more in these days than 20, 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So
especially because of social media and everything else. Everything amps everything up.
Oh, for sure. Everybody sees everything on Instagram and they think the people over there. I always say like, hey, nobody takes a picture. You clean it up, the bathtub, your toilet.
Cleaning the toilet.
You know what I'm saying? Living the true life. Everybody when they post on social media, they always put everything beautiful because that's what you want to show. And the reality is not what inside the most of the population. You know what I'm saying? But people, even though people know that's not true, people still live this. It's easier to live this fake dream than actually deal with reality. You know what I'm saying? I think this is one of the most important things that, I feel like a lot more people, you have teenagers and young kids going into depression now and even going to suicidal, to kill themselves because it was a movie, right, that talk about killing, or it was an internet, fucked up game. Like things are getting, like I feel like.
And then that goes hand in hand with the bullying. And
yes. And one thing is to another, and that's why, I wanted to share this because once a lot of people don't want to share, a lot of people are scared to do it. And sometimes, a lot of people are just embarrassed. I don't want to talk about it, but dude, there's no embarrassment there. There's no fucking embarrassment there. And you gotta understand that. Like, it's something that, like you said, if it wouldn't be for that person that just listened to you. What? You what? You know what I'm saying? If it was a person that just didn't give a shit about it, you probably would not be here. But that person, no, wait a minute. You what? Okay, let's take you in. So a lot of the times it's just one person listening and doing the right thing, and it will save a life.
It's like that ripple effect.
So before I go here, I want to talk one thing really fast so we can keep going. We're going to keep this going a little bit more. My battery's about to die, but we have this, the whole thing with Celeste, Cola, and we're going to have it all on YouTube channel.
Yeah, on YouTube. It's going to be at the Jiu Jitsu Legends podcast on YouTube. That'll be up. Cola's will definitely be up tonight, and Celeste, we're probably going to set you for like maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. But all the podcasts will be on iTunes. They'll be on Spotify, Stitcher, every platform we're on it. So
again, on YouTube, can you repeat that?
YouTube is the Jiu Jitsu Legends podcast. That's the channel. Hit the like, subscribe. You can watch everything that we have. This is going to be the actual first video format that we have set up for it. So go there, check it out.
Okay, Jordan Dolly just said, Celeste, the coach of world champion.
My prodigy.
Thank for being there for me. That's awesome. That's Jordan Dolly, another world champion, telling Celeste, that she is the coach of world champions. And thank you for being there for me. So once again, guys, I am going to turn off here on my Facebook, but I will keep it. We'll have it, the whole interview, the whole podcast on YouTube. So check us out, subscribe,
Yep,
like
the like
us,
button.
support us.
Turn
We're
on
trying to do something
notifications so
that.
every time that we have a new episode
Yes.
up, you're gonna
What's
get it.
up, Donnie? So just check it out, guys. We'll have it at CCT for life. Just check us out. We're gonna keep doing. But then, if you want to see the whole podcast, please check us out on YouTube.
Yep.
The Jiu Jitsu Legends podcast. I love you all. Thanks for the support. We're gonna keep talking to Celeste Posada. And Big Chris.
Thank you guys for the support.
So I'll see you guys. Cola. Check that. So Cola's podcast will be in.
Same places.
She'll be the same places,
Yeah,
but it
it'll
will be up
tonight.
tonight.
Yeah, we'll be up
And
tonight.
Celeste will be probably up tomorrow. So,
We'll let her dictate when she wants to go out. So.
oh my bad. Okay, keep going. So, once again, sorry guys, we're just making sure because we have the Facebook live. We just want to make sure, Celeste, once again, it's incredible to have you sharing this. This is such a serious thing that happens with so many people out there, and a lot of people really think it's nothing. It is serious. It is serious, and a lot of people say like, well, the Midwest, there's not enough serotonin, there's not enough vitamin D or vitamin B12 or this and that and this and that. Look, even in Brazil, I know people that try to kill themselves. Okay, so it's not because of sun or just vitamin B or vitamin D. You know what I'm saying? It is out there, and it's a serious issue that it should be addressed a lot more, because people should get help, and we should actually take it serious and actually help the people that need that. You know what I'm saying? So it's amazing to hear. And one important thing, you said it happened twice, right? And once again, you're such a champion. Not just to get a medal, but to save your life, to overcome and become a better person. Like the other day, we were talking in the parking lot, and you give me good advices, right? So for so long, I was able to help you out, and here you go. I'm on the parking lot, listen to you, and you're telling me a bunch of stuff that is like, man, she's so right. It's 100%. So what I feel is the most important things on the downs is that when you hit the bottom, the only way to do is to climb back up. And it takes, a true warrior to make that happen. Once again, it's not just about a medal, it's about the life and how you exchange and how you overcame and how you grew. And here you go. I helped you, I didn't help you, I was just there for you for everything. But it's not something that it's forced. I'm there, I love what I do. But once again, a couple years later, here you are. I'm going through a tough situation in my personal life, and here you go. You teach me a bunch of the stuff. So I feel like how blessed we are to, when you took that decision not to leave the Midwest and stay at LCCT. I think it was not just a good thing for you; it was a great thing for us too. So don't cry, please.
This stuff is. I think no matter how much time passes, it's always hard. It's always hard to talk about because it's always there.
Mm-hmm.
It's always there. Like I actually just a few weeks ago, I had a really bad low again, and but like the thing is though, now I feel better prepared for it. Like I know that I'm not dealing with it alone. I know that I have people that I can go to. I have therapy. There's like, at the end of the day, like if I didn't want to use like that support system, there's suicide hotlines. There are like, no matter what, there's always something that you can do. You can get help. No matter how deep you think that you're in it, there is always a way out. It's just a matter of like doing at least like the tiniest bit. Just hold it out like one more day. Something.
Yes. Yes.
Because it really does. It feels like it lasts forever, but it really doesn't. Like I remember, that happened. I went to the hospital. I came out. I was on medication for like 2 months. I did different therapy programs, and then the year after, I went to Rome. And I was looking at I was by I forgot the name of the ocean. It starts with an M. But I was like staring at not the ocean, the sea. And I was
Mediterranean Sea.
yeah, the Mediterranean Sea. I was like, fuck. Like, I was gonna take this away from myself.
Yep.
Like, I
Yes.
thought my life was so miserable, and like, look at what I'm doing right now.
180.
Like, I would have never seen this in
That's
my
crazy,
life.
right?
I was
That's
gonna
crazy.
end my life so short
Yes.
when I have so much stuff that I can still do, and so
Mhm.
much stuff that I still want to get done.
True.
And you will
True.
do.
So it was just crazy. Like that really opened my eyes. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. But like you said, the most important thing at the end of the day is that you didn't give up. Once again, there are help out there. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like every time something happens, like I said, you have your lows once in a while. And dude, not just you, all of us.
Yep.
Like I had my lows too, and I already called Chris and bawling, crying. I mean, you don't see me crying very often. You're with me for 8 years? When was the last time you saw me crying?
I don't think I
Never.
was crying. I just think all I heard was talking. I never heard any crying.
Yeah, so sometimes we kind of cover ourselves with this armor of a
Of anger.
of anger, of metal, and as a warrior, you know what I'm saying, as a gladiator. But dude, behind all that, there's a heart, there's a mind, and yeah, it does happen with all of us. You I don't know anyone in this life that did not have their lows.
And if they said that they don't, they're fucking lying.
Yes.
It's all bullshit.
I will tell you the moment that I accepted, because it's not like those thoughts that I have, they're not me. They're my thoughts.
Yes.
But they're not me. And
It's
the
not who
moment that
defines
in the moment that I accepted that and accepted those thoughts, like anytime it came up, like in my head, like, cause it used to happen to me every day. It's way less now, but every day, at least once a day, I'd always think like, well, not like consciously, but in my mind, you should kill yourself today, like randomly. And I finally got to a point where it doesn't create a reaction for me. So it's like, for me, the thought of like, oh, we should die today is like the same of like, oh, look at that wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a thought. And as long as I don't give it attention, as long as I don't feed into it or like
Don't
think too
keep
much about
pondering
it,
it.
it passes.
Mhm.
And then that's it. It just
Nice.
passes and then it just goes.
Nice. I had actually a private today with a guy that he was suffering from depression pretty bad for a while, and he was drinking a lot. He was drinking a lot. He gained a lot of weight. He was taking so much medicine for depression, not to kill himself, that he stopped training for a long time. And we got him back, this year, and he lost a lot of weight. He's got a new car. He's living by himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, and today he got here, and he's like, man, I drank last night. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what, dude? Like, serious? He goes, no. But I didn't drink to get drunk. I actually was able to
Control
sit.
it. Yeah.
And I drink, I had fun, I did not get drunk, but at the end of the day, I drink because I was happy. I didn't drink because I was miserable and I was thinking about, kill myself again. And man, I felt, like, wow, one, what a relief, you know what I'm saying? He's no longer taking his medicine. Like you said, man, a lot of the times, he goes like, dude, as long as I keep training, as long as I keep working out, now he trains, he works out, he's in a diet. So we are what we eat, we are what we do.
Food is so big and so many people
Yes.
acknowledge it. Like,
Yes.
like the moment that I don't eat a lot of sugar. I put sugar into my system. I'm emotional. I'm cranky. Like, I'm very irritable.
Do you
Look at Chris talking about
It's
emotion.
the truth. Food is what.
He's
what
on
you
the
put in.
sugar thing. He's always like crying shit.
Crying and all that fun stuff. Yes.
All right, Celeste. So I think, once again, guys, I can't thank enough to Celeste Posada for being there for us. It's
The whole school.
Exactly. She's definitely a part of the LCCT family. She has the blood of LCCT in her veins. I'm so glad, blessed, honored to have such a great warrior. You know what I'm saying? That I can say I can count on you. You know what I'm saying? Not just as you can count on me, but you can count on us, for everything. But I know if I need you, you'll be there for me, And not having my entire family here and be able to have good friends like you and Brian, people that I really believe, it's important. So thank you for the support. Thanks for coming here on Sunday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
for
you guys for having me.
for being such an awesome massage therapist. When I need your help, you always help me with my body, and some of the students too. It means a lot. And once again, thank you and Brian for being there for me, for helping us, for helping the gym, for supporting the gym. And thanks for, to share this with us. It meant a lot.
One real thing, real quick, I want to touch on. If anybody's going through anything and you're having problems and, you're having bad thoughts or thinking of suicide, there is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. The number is 1-800-273-8255. Again, that was 1-800-273-8255. Also, if you need to talk to anybody and you don't want to call them and you don't want to make it a big spectacle, reach out to us on the show. Get us on Facebook, Instagram, get a hold of somebody at the gym, anybody that you know that's linked up with us, or just somebody in the jiu-jitsu community. We're all good people. We all have hearts, and we'll be there for you. So.
Yeah, so once again, guys, Kola, black belt from SoCal, he'll be on the podcast tonight.
Yeah, those episodes will be up
So
tonight.
don't forget to check us out on YouTube, right?
Spotify,
So the
iTunes.
Jiu-Jitsu, yes, so the Jiu-Jitsu Legends podcast. So Kola will be up tonight, Celeste will be up tomorrow, and every week, man, we're gonna try to do at least 2 to provide you guys with the best. And if you guys have anything that you wanna help us with, you wanna bring out ideas,
Subjects, talk about.
Exactly. So this is something to the community. We want to share, not just the competitors, not just a UFC fighter, not just a world champion. We want to share, like we did with Celeste today. I thought it was going to be something because it does. I'm telling you, man, there are people be listening, there are people be texting like, oh my God, this is so awesome. Oh my God, I'm going through that same shit. Like, man, I need help, So a lot of the times I reach to people, I call them, like I called you before, and I call people that, they're always there like that. We start getting a good friendship. It's like, dude, why you not in the gym? What the fuck?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times I had people that I call and they're like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, you're the only person that called me. I had a guy like this, that he was going through depression. And man, I felt like God just gave me a touch. He was like, hey, call this guy right now. He was going to kill himself. So
It's funny how that works.
it's crazy, that a lot of times all it takes is one phone call, one word that would trigger you to stop this fucking thought.
Even a look.
You know what I'm saying? A hug, or just going like, hey bro, I'm here for you. And those things are important. So I think it's, once again, it's something that people should address more, people should think about more, and people should actually help each other more. So thank you so much for sharing. Because like you said in the beginning, it's such a sensitive thing, it's such a serious thing, and a lot of people don't want to share. So, but I really appreciate that. So thank you very much.
Thank you again very much.
Thank you. We love you, Pendeja.